It's so crazy to me because I'm asked so many times if I'm resentful in any type of way for where the WNBA is right now.
Candace Parker just said what every Caitlin Clark fan has been shouting all season, and it's exactly what the WNBA's old guard didn't want to hear. The league, especially the commissioner, needs to pay attention. We hoped this new season would bring a shift in attitude toward Caitlin and her fans, but instead, the jealousy has grown louder, the bitterness deeper, and the double standards more obvious. But now, Candace, a WNBA legend, has stepped in and made them all look foolish with a statement rooted in simple, undeniable truth. It's the kind of perspective that cuts through the noise and forces people to stop and think.
Out of women's basketball, for a horrible team when she arrived, outside of LeBron and Steph, she is the most well-known basketball player currently playing in the United States.
Oh, yes. And I don't think that's close.
The WNBA is experiencing explosive growth right now, and it's all thanks to Caitlin Clark. It's the worst-kept secret in sports. Caitlin isn't just the most popular player in WNBA history, she might be the most popular athlete in America, period. Last season told a story: clearly historic TV ratings, skyrocketing ticket sales, and merchandise flying off the shelves. Every single metric pointed to one undeniable fact: Caitlin Clark moves the needle like no one else. And this season, she's already surpassing it. Sold-out arenas, record-breaking viewership, the Caitlin Clark effect isn't slowing down. It's only getting bigger.
It is the second highest viewership, which is like average viewership. However, it was the highest peak of any game ever on CBS.
Fans are tuning in to watch Caitlin Clark and the Fever in record-breaking numbers this season. It all started with 1.3 million viewers for a preseason exhibition game against Brazil. Let that sink in. A preseason game pulled ratings most regular season matchups could only dream of. Then came the season opener. 2.7 million average viewers against the Sky, making it the most watched WNBA regular season game in 25 years. More recently, a peak of 3.3 million viewers tuned in to watch her take on the Liberty. But then, everything shifted. Caitlin got injured, and the momentum took a hit.
And now that Caitlin Clark is injured, the ticket prices for the Fever and Sky game just plummeted to Hades.
Ticket prices for Fever games without Caitlin Clark have dropped by as much as 300%. And while Fever fans are still showing up in strong TV numbers, more on that shortly, the rest of the league is struggling to keep pace. This should be a serious wake-up call for everyone: players, coaches, front offices, and the league itself. Caitlin Clark is projected to bring in over $1 billion in revenue for the WNBA this year alone. That means one thing: the league is one major Caitlin Clark injury away from losing all its momentum. Those big CBA dollars Angel Reese is banking on. That new deal. Nafisa Collier says players have leverage for think again. Without Caitlin, that leverage vanishes. Yet somehow, the league keeps getting in its own way. Instead of embracing the obvious truth about who's driving this growth, they keep spinning narratives and ignoring the facts. Rather than celebrating the massive gains, they keep steering the conversation away from basketball, and it's costing them.
The loudest mics, like I stated, are the ones that's race baiting. Not even bringing up the names, but all the people that I'm seeing that are tied within the WNBA media, coaches, all type of things. They are very resentful of Caitlin Clark, and I don't know why. It doesn't make sense when you have somebody that's doing what she's doing for the WNBA.
We're only a few games into the season, and already it's been one facepalm after another when it comes to how Caitlin Clark and her fans have been treated. It took just a single game for the chaos to begin. After the opener against the Sky, the league launched an investigation into alleged hate speech based on virtually nothing. But by then, the damage was done. Instead of celebrating an incredible debut and a historic, record-breaking moment for the WNBA, the headlines were hijacked. The spotlight shifted from basketball to controversy. And once again, Caitlin Clark and her fans were pulled into a narrative that had nothing to do with what actually happened on the court.
You even though it's 100% false, by acknowledging we don't condone hate and not seeing that this was a internet rumor founded of complete bullshit, you're lending credence to this. There was none of that.
Out of that mess came a damaging narrative that Indianapolis wasn't safe for players and that Caitlin Clark's fan base was hateful. People were actually calling for the All-Star game to be moved, and some even demanded that Dave Portnoy be banned from arenas for heckling Angel Reese. Meanwhile, the league has remained completely silent about the very real hate and hostility being directed at Caitlin Clark and the Fever. No statements. No support. Nothing.
The kind of stuff that's being said to them, the stuff that's being said to Kelsey Mitchell, the kind of things that are being said to Natasha Howard are actually wild. People have taken a photo of these women and circled a bullseye on them and have said, it's on site when I see you. Those are actual threats.
The things being said about the Fever players, especially Caitlin Clark, went far beyond basketball. These weren't just critiques of her game or debates over her popularity. They were personal, hateful, and in some cases, outright threatening.
Caitlin Clark is getting some of the grossest, most morbid comments, racist, hateful. We're talking the cup runneth over with hate. Here, Kathy Engelbert, you're no space for hate. Where are you right now?
These weren't just rude comments, they were legitimate threats. The kind of personal, targeted attacks you'd expect the league, especially one that constantly promotes its stance on inclusion and zero tolerance for hate, to condemn publicly. But instead, silence. No statement. No defense. No support. And it only got worse. We've now reached the point where fans on X are actually accusing Caitlin Clark of using her assistant coach's baby as a prop. It's absurd. It's malicious, and the league's continued silence is becoming impossible to ignore.
Kathy Engelbert, in this long, drawn-out article, goes on and gives herself credit for why the WNBA has finally entered some type of mainstream conversation.
That's right, Caitlin Clark is now being attacked for something as innocent as holding a baby. That's the level of discourse we're dealing with. What started as basic criticism has spiraled into full-blown conspiracy theories, and through it all, the league remains silent. No statements, no condemnation, no show of support. It's beyond frustrating, especially from a league that constantly promotes values of inclusion, respect, and zero tolerance for hate. The hostility toward Caitlin and her fans hasn't gone away. If anything, it's only intensified. Despite all the evidence of her positive impact, sold-out arenas, skyrocketing TV ratings, and record-breaking viewership, the resistance to acknowledging her value is stronger than ever. And it's not just coming from fans or rival players. It's coming from the top. The league's leadership seems unwilling or unable to accept that Caitlin Clark is the driving force behind the WNBA's current surge in relevance and revenue. Instead of embracing her success and using it to elevate the entire league, they continue to tiptoe around her popularity, as if it's a threat instead of an opportunity. Until that mindset changes, the league risks alienating the very fans who are fueling its growth.
To new followers and outside observers, our organization's success might seem overnight and even lucky, prepared by a singularly exceptional group of college players coming into the WNBA. However, we could not have capitalized on those advantages without years of hard work and preparation. Years of hard work and preparation. It might have seemed like it came overnight.
Commissioner Kathy Engelbert even penned an article for the Harvard Business Review where she seemed to go out of her way to take credit and to spread that credit to just about everyone except the person actually driving the league's success. Coaches, players, marketing teams, front office strategies, you name it, she mentioned it. Everyone got a pat on the back. Yet, despite Caitlin Clark being the clear catalyst behind the WNBA's explosive growth this season, Engelbert gave her little more than a passing nod, if that. The omission wasn't just noticeable, it was deliberate. In a moment where the league should be uniting behind its breakout star, the commissioner chose to dilute her impact and redirect the spotlight elsewhere. It felt like a calculated move to avoid giving Caitlin the credit she's rightfully earned, despite all the undeniable metrics: TV ratings, ticket sales, merchandise, and national attention pointing directly to her influence. This kind of leadership sends a clear message: even if you carry the league on your back, don't expect public recognition. And that's not just unfair to Caitlin, it's short-sighted for the league as a whole.
They just can't. They just can't not even wrap their head around. They can't just accept, okay, this person is more popular than me, or this person is more popular than the player that we want to push.
She seriously watered down Caitlin Clark's impact more than a McDonald's fountain Coke. In her article, Engelbert lumped Caitlin in with Angel Reese and Cameron Brink, stating that as these rookies entered the league regular season games began averaging 1.2 million viewers, a 170% jump from the previous season. But let's be real, you know it, I know it, and even your dog knows it, that 1.2 million average was driven by Caitlin Clark's games. Instead of highlighting the obvious, the league continues to downplay her influence to avoid upsetting the old guard. There's this constant effort to hand out gold stars to everyone but Caitlin, just to maintain some illusion of balance. And while Reese and Brink have brought value, the numbers don't lie. Caitlin is the reason the WNBA is exploding right now. Trying to dilute that truth only insults fans' intelligence and undermines the very momentum the league should be rallying behind. The refusal to give her proper credit isn't just petty, it's damaging.
When they play in these arenas where there are 15 to 20,000 people in the stands, they are in front of people that they haven't been in front of before. That is an opportunity for all of us fans to get to know all the players on the court, all of the players in the WNBA, to pick new favorite players, to pick other teams that we want to follow along.
It's one thing to be jealous, that's human. But what we're seeing with Caitlin Clark goes far beyond that. There's this bizarre need to tear her down just to feel lifted up. And far too often, people default to calling it racism whenever she gets attention, as if her success has nothing to do with her actual accomplishments. Let's be clear, Caitlin Clark has shattered 62 WNBA records, earned first-team All-Star honors, ranked 4th in MVP voting, and dragged a struggling team into the playoffs all in her rookie year. That's not hype. That's history. What's even wilder is that, whether they admit it or not, Caitlin's presence is making the league better for everyone. When the spotlight is on her, it doesn't stop with her, it expands to the entire WNBA. More fans, more coverage, more money, more opportunity. Instead of fighting it, the league should be embracing it. Because lifting up Caitlin Clark doesn't mean anyone else gets pushed down, it means the whole league rises with her. Thanks for sticking around. See you next time.